I want to welcome you all to the first regular meeting of November of 2025 of the North Spencer County School Corporation. Superintendent Schneiders has 4 days prior to today provided each of the board members a packet of information and reference to the items on tonight's agenda. This packet is for our review and to have questions or concerns addressed. At this time, I would like to call this meeting to order with a moment of silence. Our vision is to provide inviting and challenging learning opportunities for everyone. And the first item tonight is a presentation from Centerpoint, who will present an incentive check to North Spencer for the completed renovations of the high school, middle school. And the floor is yours, girls.
All right, well, good afternoon. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to come in here. So my name is Jill Barrett. I work with Centerpoint Energy. I manage our energy efficiency programs, and I have Sonia with me.
Sonia then with Resource Innovations, we manage the commercial rebate program.
And so we are grateful for the opportunity to help with the revitalization of the middle school, where we did some lighting upgrades, some HVAC upgrades, and also had some controls installed. So ultimately, to make the building more energy efficient and hopefully save some energy while we're doing that. I know Sonia has also shared there's some upcoming projects that you guys are also looking at doing, so we appreciate the continued support. But today we're presenting you with a check for $47,702.61, rebates for participating in that program.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we'll get a picture right over here. We'll
Okay,
get,
perfect.
Abe Lincoln in the background.
How do you like it? Oh, yeah?
You guys ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 1 more.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here. Yeah, absolutely.
We hope to do it again soon.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies, for coming.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is Mr. Ben Llewellyn, the principal at Lincoln Trail Elementary School, and he will present on the team of teachers and administrators that presented at the iReady Impact Action Summit in October.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, evening, whatever it feels like evening. Seniors, I'm glad that was for energy efficiency. I thought that was when I round up my bill every month. I didn't think I had that represented. Just wanted to share with you, thanks for letting me come and talk with you. We had a really neat opportunity to take a team from North Spencer to Indianapolis. Curriculum Associates, they're the massive textbook company that creates iReady. And we've been doing that and using their products now for many, many years here in North Spencer, especially at the elementary level in terms of the full gamut in terms of textbooks and assessment, testing, all those different kinds of things. And with the new iLearn checkpoints coming out, that forced us to make a decision in North Spencer at the elementary level, especially about whether we were going to continue to give this iReady diagnostic test 3 times a year, in addition to the new iLearn checkpoints that we're doing starting this year with all the grades 3 through 8. And so we were one of the first districts to inform them that that was going to be too much testing, and we did not need all of that data because we have our own data of our own to know how our students are performing. And so you can imagine iReady was very concerned about a bunch of school districts hopping off and and ditching their testing to go to one that's created by the DOE, the checkpoints. And so they asked me to meet with them this summer and do a webinar and kind of walk them through some of our decision making. And so when I did that, they could not believe how well our district utilizes data and from our students. And so they asked me if we would be interested in ever attending one of their conferences and presenting to other districts. And sometimes North Spencer gets asked that kind of thing all the time and nothing ever happens with it. So I said, yeah, we would be happy to share some time. And didn't think much of it. Well, then a couple months later, they contacted me and said they have their largest conference in Indy, and they would love to have North Spencer send a team to be one of the featured guest speakers. And so right away we wanted to make sure that our job is not to sell their product, that we're not going there to talk about how wonderful iReady is, because we know good teachers are way more important than any kind of textbook or resource that's available. And so they said, you can talk about whatever you want to. We just want you to please talk about data and how your teachers and your district uses data. So it was originally pitched to me that it's going to be a team of administrators. But after talking with Mr. Sneeders and Mrs. Jazik, we made the decision to take some teachers with us. And I'm so glad that we did that, because teachers don't get to do that kind of thing very often. In other words, speak to other teachers about how well they perform at their craft. And so Mrs. Jazik, Mrs. Schmidt, and I went along, and then we started the task of identifying one teacher from all 4 buildings, at least one. And so we could have taken a huge team, of course, but they capped us at 8 rooms that they paid for us to go to Indy and present. So Heather Sisley from Christie, Heather Treader from David Turnham, Kristen Wendell from Lincoln Trail, Carrie Blessinger, and Vanessa Destings from Nancy Hanks. So that was those 5 teachers and us, that was our team. We met for 3 or 4 different sessions right after school here in this room to plan our presentation. And that is what Mr. Sneeders, I think I heard him say, he shared that with you all tonight. So obviously we don't have time to go through, and I know you're all very busy people with your own agenda, but if you could take a look at that, I'll just highlight a couple of different components. So our presentation was given to elementary administrators, elementary teachers, instructional coaches. We had probably around 40 people come, so it was a breakout session conference, you know how you have those kind of things, and we had to write a description of what we were presenting on. iReady named our presentation How to Fly High and Right. And when I asked them why they named it, they said, oh, you can change it, but we picked that because your district has some of the best data that we have seen out of any of our customers in terms of not just high achieving data, which of course is important, but perhaps even more importantly, growth of students. So where we have students when we get them at the beginning of the year, and where we take them throughout the year and where they finish at. And so we opted just to kind of leave that title. We liked it, How to Fly High and Right. We left that alone. And so those following slides, starting with the minor number, slide number 2, the one with that looks like a yellow Post-it note that says, number 1, we teach kids, not programs. That has been a hallmark of North Spencer, you know, as long as I've been here and before me, and I'm sure will continue after me. But we wanted to send a message right away to those people that were coming to listen to us speak, that if they think that we're going to be able to give them a resource of tools and they can purchase to make kids grow and help them become better students, we wanted to send that right away that that's the wrong session, because we're not going to talk to them about what textbook we use for teaching math or teaching reading, or how we address number sense in math, or how we address writing. We didn't focus on any resources at all, including those provided by Curriculum Associates. And they knew that. We shared our presentation ahead of time with them. So they knew that we weren't there just to talk about what we liked about their product. We talked about what we know good instruction can do, and the power of utilizing data to make data-informed decisions. So if you click on slide number 7 there, we started showing them, that's the one that's got the yellow, red, and green, all the kids' names over on the left-hand side, or if you look closely, you'll realize those are all the administrative team on there. We know this is inaccurate data because you can see Mr. Sneeders has pass plus and really high data all throughout there, so Mrs. Jacek felt sorry for him on that day. But you can see, we were talking to them about every one of our teachers has this much data available to them based on last year's performance. So before they ever even meet the kid, before that student ever steps foot in their classroom, our teachers are looking at and realizing where students were last year, the year before they ever got them. And so we set goals, instructional goals based on that, of what students we want to prioritize, what are the most essential skills that those kids need to learn. And so if you click on another slide number 8, one more forward, you can see that we keep talking about data is, if all you're doing is looking at data at the beginning of the year, and you're gonna look again at Christmas, and you're gonna look again at the end, you're missing the ball game, because the game is really looking at data throughout the year and adjusting what you do. And from a principal standpoint, sometimes that means adjusting resources like support, flexing schedules where that's more needed, things like that. So we literally, all 8 people in our presentation, we literally had it timed out where all 8 people got to speak. And it's so funny watching teachers because they talk to kids all day long, experts, and they're so entertaining, especially this group of teachers that we took. I mean, they're all excellent. And you put them in that room with other teachers and they get so nervous and scared about presenting something. It's so funny to watch that. But I'm so glad that we did, because Mrs. Jacek she elbowed me during the presentation. She's like, man, what a rock star group of teachers that we have. And like I said, we could have taken, if they would have told us we had 20 rooms, we could have filled it up just as easily with some really excellent, top-notch teachers. So it was so good that after it was over with, we talked about, myself being an elementary principal, so if there were principals in the room, they could come and talk to us about the evaluation process and how North Spencer still has the data piece. Student growth is still part of our evaluation system. Not all districts do that anymore. Some of them have scrapped that component. So some people came up afterwards, but what I really loved is watching the other teachers all over the state of Indiana come and talk to our teachers and ask them to exchange contact information. Can I come and visit you sometime? They were that impressed with our presentation. So I won't, like I said, go through all those slides with you. If you'll let me share just point one more out to you, slide number 26. Mrs. Blessinger, Nancy Hanks, she's a special education teacher. I'm saying this because I saw Molly sitting over there, but North Spencer, the inclusion model about how all of those kids belong in our school, and they're not just the special ed teachers' kids, they're the gen ed teachers' kids, or the principal's kids. They're all our kids. Just absolutely top notch. That is very unique to North Spencer. So looking at all of that data, especially the growth data that I referenced earlier about how much kids change. If you ever talk to a primary teacher, I told you we had Heather Sisley there. Heather Sisley's taught first grade as long as I've ever known her, right? I used to teach at Christine. She was a first grade teacher then. And sometimes, I'll ask her, don't you ever want to teach a different grade? Surely you get tired of the content year after year. Every time a really talented primary teacher, they all say the same thing. They'll say the kids change so much from May to when I take them in August. And she said, I just cannot imagine teaching something where I don't see that kind of change in kids and how powerful that is. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. North Spencer is still really involved with Curriculum Associates. Jen and I are kind of doing some Google Meets with them in terms of looking at the data from checkpoints. And iReady, of course, is trying to come up with a product that will be automatic. So when a kid takes checkpoint data, it will sync with their system, and that system will use AI to automatically assign next step lessons to them. So we like that idea. It gives our kids something to do during guided station work. And so Mrs. Jacek and we're still, even next week, we're still meeting with them to help them so they can see what we want to see, what kind of data do we want to pull from the checkpoints so they can work on developing their product. I promise you, there's a whole bunch of people at that conference who heard of North Spencer.
Any questions?
When you guys are, I'm trying to find the slide, when you're talking about the goal setting, is that something that iReady automatically sets based on, or is that something that the teacher is involved in for every student?
Both. So iReady will set a goal based on the student's performance, and they'll say a year's worth of growth is called typical growth. Well, that's if that kid attendance is good and the teacher is a good teacher, a year's worth of growth is typical growth. But if that student is behind, if we make a year's worth of growth with them, they're gonna be just as behind next year as they were this year. So we need more than a year's if we're trying to play catch up. And we call that stretch growth. iReady will determine how much stretch growth. And a lot of our teachers, especially with our lower performing students, you'll hear them talk about stretch growth. That's in their mind because they want to close that gap. And so when they send them on to the next grade, they may not be a grade level, they may be a little behind, but they're closer than they were before they had me for a year. And that's kind of our mentality. So iReady does do those goals, but we also have conversations about for their evaluation based on, I kid you not, every single kid. So every one of our administrators talks about every single kid in their building twice a year. Really, minimum of twice a year. It's really powerful.
So those goals are state set goals?
Some of them are state set, and then the evaluation is North Spencer. We set those goals for teachers for their evals. We still have student data is one of the components in our evaluation plan. It's not in a lot of other places, but we still have it here. We believe in it. I think our teachers believe in it. They want that. They want that accountability piece. They want it to be fair, of course, and we do have a really fair process for that.
Good stuff, Ben. I may mixing your comments, but earlier when you started, you were talking about you were going up there to help share why you didn't need another metric to measure, another set of tests to take. Is that what the goal of this was, or was this a separate presentation because of how well you do with iReady?
Yeah, so it started off, the reason we got asked was because I was having a very direct conversation with them about, very concerned about too much testing, you know, and how much testing kids are doing. And we have our teachers are so good at monitoring their students' performance that we don't need another standalone special test to tell us something that we already know from our own set of curriculum. So it started off that they wanted to interview North Spencer to find out why we were ditching. We were so successful with their iReady diagnostic test. And some of you that have kids here, you know what I'm talking about. We used to send those reports to you home 3 times a year. We are ditching that test in favor or in lieu of the iLearn checkpoints, which is a requirement from the DOE. So they want to know if that test has been working so well for you, why are you getting rid of it? And so that prompted us to have the conversation of why we don't need that. And then when they heard us speaking about how well our teachers are using data, that's when they asked us to come to the conference.
Gotcha. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for representing North Spencer.
Sure.
Awesome.
It was a great conference.
Yeah.
Okay, next item on the agenda is a roll call. David Waniger,
Present.
Wayne Brinkman,
Present.
Jennifer Rich,
Present.
Chris Orr,
Present.
Jennifer Aldridge, Brittany Giles.
Present.
Everyone is here. And we need approval of our minutes from our previous meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. The next item is treasurer's report.
The treasurer's report for this month, you have the actual treasurer's report itself, also including comparison of fund balances. That's a standalone sheet within your folder. The one thing within the treasurer's report I wanted to make note of, again, at the beginning of the month, Jerry's been tracking preschool for us. That's obviously been a focus for us. And that cash balance, so you'll see within the treasurer's report, that balance in there. So that's looking good right now, despite some of the things we've talked about previously with preschool and on our way to pre-K. So other than that, are there any questions? I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item is consideration of claims.
The claims for this agenda, 108,249 to 108,332, totaling $450,260.77. No abstaining or anybody. Anyone have questions on claims?
Do you know how many election endorsement matters?
We are in the home stretch. I'm looking through here, okay, so 108,281 was on there,
268 was one on there as well.
268 is
Playground,
yeah, so those are the last ones for, there should be a third one.
281, 108, 281.
So there should be three total, so the three total wrap up all preschool, or I'm sorry, all playground payments, so if there's not a third on here, that one's still out.
Oh, and the one was the property demo, sorry, that wasn't playground, but yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, Christie should be, the playground should be wrapped out, yeah, so that is the difference. Any other questions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Next item is personnel considerations. We have one leave.
We have one leave, as in your agenda notes, I recommend you approve that request.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Resignation, none. Appointments,
We have one appointment for middle school girls track and field coach, Mr. Engelbrecht and Mrs. DeVilliers recommend Valerie Washburn be assigned to that position. Recommend you approve that request.
So moved.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Others?
We have two others here. First of all, leave coverage for obviously a leave. That information is contained within agenda notes. Recommend you approve that leave as requested.
Make a motion to approve.
So moved, or second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
The second item does not require a vote, but it is just a notification to the board of transfer of position within the school district. Again, that information is within the agenda notes, just information to you that we're going to make that transfer of position within the district.
I'll make a motion to approve. I was on that motion, sorry.
You can do what you want.
You can ignore me.
Patron comments? Okay, then we'll move on to old business.
Old business, the only item I have is a transfer from education to operations fund, just the monthly transfer of $83,333. Recommend you approve that request.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. New business?
Under new business at the high school, we have an old one-person man lift that has not worked for a long time. I recommend, what we'd like to do is see if we can sell it, and if not, we'll dispose of it appropriately. I recommend you approve that request.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Next item is an appointment to the Spencer County Library Board of Trustees. We have one appointment on that board. Krista Jones and the Spencer County Library Board of Trustees recommend putting Bruce Green to another 4-year term. Recommend you approve that request.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next item is E-rate. So we apply annually for E-rate funds, and really this is a discount on hardware type items that we use to keep our IT infrastructure going as it should. So really the board is just providing permission to apply for federal grants, which E-rate is. Again, it's about a 60 to 70% discount, so obviously is well worth our efforts in trying to do that. So I recommend I request being allowed to advertise for E-rate.
I move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next item, 25-26 compensation for administrative staff. I put that information before you as we've discussed. Recommend you approve that request. So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next item, hard to believe, but holidays are approaching. Would like to request to cancel the December 22nd meeting. If that's all right with you. I'll ask for your approval to do that.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Moving along, we use the frontline office bundle for several things, mostly absence management, substitute phone calls, things of that nature. There's an additional bundle that we will be able to use that will be for, to do things in basically managing personnel. Clock in, clock out system to replace the paper time sheets we do. That won't happen for a while. It'll happen closer to the summer of '26, but basically at this point, you're giving permission to move forward with this package. So the initial cost is $3,000. That's transfer fee, professional or training, and then the annual cost is $7,500 per year for the additional bundle. Any questions on that?
I'll make a motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, last item under new business. We talked just a little bit about this at the last meeting, but we actually have two resolutions out there that kind of accomplish the same thing. So the resolution I'm proposing before you, which is in the board meeting access spreadsheet, is really a resolution that takes the transfer of Medicaid funds and puts it in an existing budget transfer resolution that we already have. So what you're approving is moving all activities within the Medicaid transfer into the budget transfer resolution. Does that make sense?
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item is request.
We have several field trips to approve. Most notably, if you look closely there, our Stonewall team has actually two requests for the competition in Southridge, which is over in a week and a half. They'll be going to, this week. This weekend, they'll be going to Purdue for the state Stonewall competition. So I recommend you approve those field trip requests.
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. We have professional leave.
We have one professional leave I recommend you approve as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Use of facilities.
We have 4 facilities requests. I recommend you approve those as submitted.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. And we have no others, so we have superintendent's report.
Just a brief superintendent's report. I want to talk a little bit about the preschool. Again, I feel like I talk every meeting about our preschool program, and it's all good because we're trying to find the most efficient way to operate our preschool, but also, as Mr. Lown was talking about data before, I read an article today about preschool, the importance of it, and more research saying that kids who are behind at preschool rarely, if ever, catch up to grade level as they go through the K-12 system. So really just places more emphasis on what we're doing within our preschool and trying to our programming, what we're doing, and want that to be as good as possible, but we also want to offer it to as many people as we possibly can. And I think that's a work in progress for our preschool. I have spoken with some community leaders. There's going to be a meeting upcoming to discuss some of these things and try to get some voices at the table and just try to, I don't want to say have a better plan because that makes it seem like it wasn't a good plan, but just have a plan that is doing what we need it to do. So I just wanted to share that with the board.
No others, so I will request a motion to adjourn and go into executive session.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Thanks, Molly.
Next we have Mr. Loud talking.
That
you.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That you were asked to